Hello, how are you? I'm fine, thank you. Sit down, please. I'd like to speak English today too, to improve my speaking skill. Let's get it started. Today, it is December 15th, 2022. It's on Thursday, and it's sunny outside today. How are you spending Thursday? When I was a university student, I used to make the schedule of Thursday very light, easy. And I made the schedule for Friday a little heavier. This was my schedule in a week. I went to the university from Monday to Friday and sometimes Saturday because of the cancellation or something like that. And from the second year of a student, from the second year of the university, we started to choose which subject we took by ourselves, and I made the schedule for Thursday very easy, taking only one or two classes on Thursday, and it worked well in a week. So I think also other students also made the schedule for Thursday easy. Top Court. Have you ever been to Supreme Court? Have you taken the tour of the Supreme Court in Tokyo? I should have taken the tour of Supreme Court when I was in Tokyo. I missed the opportunity, but when I go to Tokyo next time, I will join it. And there is also a tour of the Diet House of the Upper House. Yeah, the House of Councillors. There is a tour of the Diet House of the House of Councillors. But we need to reserve that beforehand. But when I applied for that, it was not open to the public due to the emergency meeting, emergency session, so I couldn't have the chance to see inside. But I next time when I go to Tokyo, I'd like to take the tour of the Diet House, of the House of Councillors one. I'd like to take the tour of the Top Court, Supreme Court, Top Court, Top Court. I'd like to take the tour of the Top Court. I'd like to take the tour of Top Court. I'd like to take the tour of Supreme Court, Top Court, Supreme Court, Top Court. Top Court, Top Court. A daily effort might be the only way to clear the way for achieving our goals. Stacking up small effort daily might be the only way to clear the way for achieving our goals, especially big ones. Stacking up daily small effort might be the only way to clear the way for achieving our big goals. My persistency cleared the way for becoming the occupation. My endless effort and studying cleared the way for getting the qualification. My endless challenge cleared the way for getting the qualification. My endless effort cleared the way for getting the qualification. My endless effort and daily small effort cleared the way for getting the qualification after 8 years. Only challenging might clear the way for something special. Only challenging might clear the way for something special. Crazy ideas will clear the way for breakthroughs. Crazy ideas might be the only way to clear the way for breakthrough. Crazy ideas might be the only method way to clear the way for breakthrough. Crazy ideas might be the only way to clear the way for breakthroughs. Crazy ideas might be the only way to clear the way for breakthroughs. Challenging might be the only way to clear the way for something new, special. My endless challenging cleared the way for getting the qualification, getting the qualification. My endless effort, my endless commitment to the study cleared the way for getting the qualification. Stacking up small daily effort might be the only way to clear the way for breakthrough, reaching incredible level. I'd like to clear the way for the life studying abroad. I wanted to clear the way for the life studying abroad. I wanted to clear the way for entering the university and study abroad. I wanted to clear the way for entering the university. I wanted to clear the way for entering the high school. But dream didn't make true. Didn't come true. But the dream didn't come true. So I will replace the dream with another one to make up for the sadness, depression. Only you can clear the way for what you wanna do. Only you can clear the way for the accomplishment. Don't turn to others. Don't count on others. Don't rely on others. Only you can have the chance. Only you can try. Only you can improve that. We might clear the way for the space trip to another planet with reasonable prices in the future. We might be able to clear the way for the space trip to another galaxy with reasonable prices with the development of new technologies. I'm not sure when it will be, or it might not come. I don't know. We might be able to clear the way for the space trip to another galaxy with the development of new technologies. I don't know, I'm not sure, just talking. We might be able to clear the way for, we might be able to clear the way for the space trip to another galaxy in the future with development of new technologies, with the development of new technologies. We might be able to clear the way for the space trip to another galaxy with the technology development, with the development of new technologies. We might be able to clear the way for the space trip to another galaxy with the development of new technologies. I'm trying to clear the way for the life studying in other country. I am trying to clear the way for living, making a living with YouTube videos. I'm trying to clear the way for making a living with YouTube videos. I'd like to clear the way for making a living with YouTube videos in the future. I'd like to clear the way for having a life, making a living with YouTube videos. I really hope so. From bottom of my heart, deep bottom of my heart. I'd like to clear the way for making a living with YouTube videos. I really hope so. Do you think I can clear the way for my dreams? Do you think I can clear the way for my dreams? If you do not stop pursuing your dreams, I think, I predict, I bet, I guess, you can clear the way for that. Unless you give up, I think you can clear the way for your dreams. I cleared the way for getting the qualification with much commitment to that. With much commitment to my studying, I cleared the way for getting the qualification after 8 years. I never gave up. My much commitment to the studying, my much commitment, dedication, devotion to the studying daily cleared the way for getting the qualification finally. I'd like to clear the way for happy life with somebody special. I'd like to clear the way for having a happy life. I'd like to clear the way for making a living with YouTube videos. I'd like to clear the way for having a happy life. I'd like to clear the way for having a happy family by meeting someone special in the near future. I'd like to clear the way for having a happy life. I'd like to clear the way for making a living with YouTube videos. I'd like to clear the way for earning money from YouTube videos. I'd like to clear the way for earning money from YouTube videos. Only crazy ideas might be able to clear the way for breakthroughs. I haven't heard of the constitutional court ever until you told me. I hadn't known about the constitutional court until you told me. I didn't know the constitutional court until you told me about that. Constitutional court. What does the constitutional court do? What does the constitutional court do? What does the constitutional court do? Does the judge decide if the law is under the constitution or not? Does the judge rule whether the laws or ordinance or other things abide by the constitution or not? In the constitutional court, constitutional court, constitutional court, constitutional court, constitutional court, constitutional court. constitutional code, supreme code, top code, district code, district code. There are many kinds of code, some kinds of code, some kinds of code, some kinds of code. Constitutional code, criminal code, criminal code, district code, district code, supreme code, top code. Constitutional code, criminal code, district code, supreme code, supreme code. Constitutional code, 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 constitutional, constitutional code, constitutional, constitutional code, constitutional code, constitutional code. Constitutional code. Constitutional code, constitutional code. Do you know about legislative yuan? Legislative yuan. Legislative yuan. Have you heard of the legislative yuan? Have you heard of legislative yuan? Legislative yuan. Legislative yuan. Legislative yuan. Legislative yuan. Legislative yuan. Legislative yuan. Have you heard of legislative yuan? Legislative yuan. Legislative yuan. Have you heard of legislative yuan? Bringing flammable items into the cabin is not allowed. Bringing flammable items is not allowed. Bringing flammable items into the cabin is not allowed. Bringing flammable items into the cabin is not allowed. Bringing flammable items into the cabin is not allowed. There are many things which are not allowed. There are many things that are not allowed here. Talking aloud is not allowed here. Smoking inside is not allowed in this facility. Are you satisfied with the current situation? Trying to be satisfied with the current situation, and what you have is the chips for being happy. Are you satisfied with the current payment, salary, perk? When did you start to want to become a judge? When did you start to want to become a judge? What is your duty as a judge? What does the judge usually do without the appearance in the court? The procedure and the decision sounds very difficult for me. When did you start to want to become a judge? There are many annual events. Many annual events were cancelled soon after the pandemic, and many events started to reopen since 2 or 3 years. Many events were held this year. Many annual events were cancelled soon after the pandemic, and more events started to be held this year. since 3 years. There are many issues unsolved. There are many outstanding issues. There are many outstanding issues. There are many unsolved issues. And the third issue issued? Did you have the third issue of the book? Which issue of your book? Which issue is your book? Which issue of the book did you buy? The third issue is the latest one. The third issue of the book is the latest one. The third issue of the book is the latest one. We were divided into 7 classes at junior high school. But because of the low birth rate, the number of children are decreasing. So I think, I'm not sure, but the classes might be divided into 5 or 4 classes, maybe. I'm not sure, because the number of children are decreasing. There were more children in my parents' generation, so there were 8 classes in the junior high schools. When I was junior high school, the 8 classroom was not used, so it was like a storehouse. Are you looking forward to annual events of the new year? Are you looking forward to the annual events in the New Year's Eve and New Year? Are you looking forward to the annual sale of the shop? Are you looking forward to the annual events of the New Year's Eve and New Year's? Are you looking forward to the annual events of the New Year and New Year's Eve? Let's get down to the outstanding issue first. Let's get down to solving the issues. Let's get down to solving the unsolved issues. Let's get down to unsolved issues. Let's get down to the unsolved issues first. Let's divide the pizza into 8 pieces so that we can eat them. Let's divide the pizza into 8 pieces so that all of us can eat them, okay? Let's divide the pieces into 8 pieces. Let's divide the pizza into 8 pieces so that all of us can eat them. Let's divide the pizza into 4 pieces so that all of us can eat them, okay? The award was granted to the employee who made no mistake during the year. The scholarship was granted me for a year. I did not expect me to be accepted. I did not expect that I would get the grant, even if I applied for that. But I could get it. I should have applied for that much earlier to get the scholarship for 4 years, but I got only 1 year. I didn't know I didn't know that I could get the scholarship, but I was granted for 1 year. If I knew that, if I had known that I could get the scholarship with the condition, I would have applied for that much earlier. Hmm. A pencil. A pen was granted to the participants. A pen and a secret thing which is not made public will be granted to the participants. So please looking forward to that by participating in the party. A secret thing will be granted to the party participants. So please join us. Why don't you join us? Why not join us? Please join us. Let's go to the party, shall we? Let's go to Universal Studios Japan, shall we? Sure. Shall we go to Universal Studios Japan or Disneyland? Tokyo Disneyland, Tokyo Disney Sea. I hope I will get the scholarship. I hope the scholarship will be granted to me. I hope I will be granted the scholarship. I hope I will be granted the scholarship. I hope I will be granted the scholarship. I hope that I will get the scholarship. Grant. Grant. The CEO of the company granted the award to the employee who made no mistake in the year. The CEO of the company granted special bonus to the employee who made much contribution to the company. The CEO of the company granted special bonus to the employee who made a contribution to the company. The CEO granted much amount of bonus to the employee who made accomplishment and contributed to the company. Contributed to the company. Do you take it for granted that you have food every day? Do you take it for granted that you can drink water daily? Do you take it for granted that you can breathe every day? I take it for granted to be kind to elderly people. I take it for granted that we give our seats to the elderly people. I take it for granted that we give our seats to the elderly people in public transportation. I take it for granted that we give our seats to the elderly people in public transportation. Have you got grant? Do you know how to apply for the grant? Many businesses must have got the grant soon after the pandemic to compensate to cover the loss due to the pandemic. Many businesses must have got the grant from the government soon after the pandemic. Many businesses must have got the grant from the government to get through the pandemic. Do you think I can get the grant? Is there a restriction to get the grant? Is there a requirement to get the grant? Yes. Is there a grant? Is there a requirement to get the grant? Yes. As far as I know, if the sales figures decrease by the half compared to the same month of the year, the same month of the last year, maybe you can get. I'm not sure. Please check it yourself. But I think the grant offering has been stopped. They are not giving such service now. Such help now. It's stopped. Where can I apply for the grant? Is there a grant to help the student who study hard? Is there a grant who helps anybody studying hard to get qualifications? Is there a grant giving to those studying hard every day without a job? Is there a grant given to those studying hard without a job? Is there a grant given to those studying hard without a job? Grant, 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 grant. Is there a grant given to those studying hard, making daily effort without a job at home? Grant, 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 grant. Grant. Is there a grant given to those studying hard without a job? Is there a grant given to those studying so hard every day without a job. There are many kinds of grant. If I can get the grant, I will study abroad. If not, I will search for a job. I'm of two minds whether I should study abroad. I'm of two minds whether or not I should study abroad. I should work abroad. I'm in two minds about whether I should work abroad. I'm of two minds whether to study abroad. I'm in two minds. I'm of two minds. I'm in two minds regarding whether to study abroad. I'm in two minds about whether to work abroad. I am of two minds whether to study abroad. I am of two minds whether to work abroad. I am in two minds whether to study abroad. I am in two minds. I am in two minds. I am in two minds regarding whether I should work abroad. If I can get the grant, I will study abroad. If I can get the grant, which does not need to be paid back, I will study abroad. If I can get the grant, which does not need to be paid back, I will study abroad. If I can get the grant which does not need to be paid back, I will study abroad. If I can get the grant which is not needed to be paid back, I will study abroad. If I can get the grant, which needs to be paid, which does not need to be paid back, I will study abroad. Grant. Are you going to marry someday? Yes, I'd like to marry somebody in the future. Having a happy family and enjoying my life with them is one of my dreams. I'd like to marry someday. Are you married to someone? Are you engaged to someone? Have you got engaged to someone? Are you married to somebody? Are you married to somebody? If you are married to somebody, you can get a benefit to provide for them from the company. Are you married? Are you married to somebody? I am not married to somebody. When I met you last year, I was not married to somebody, but now I am married to somebody. When we met at the university, he was already married to somebody. When we met each other at the university, he was already married to somebody. He had already married to somebody. Are you married or unmarried? Are you married or unmarried? Are you married or unmarried? What do you think of marriage? The value for marriage has been changing since the past few years. The value for the marriage is changing. More and more people are choosing not to marry for good, because there are many binds we have to follow, and there are many binds, obligations, and the cost to the marriage. Bringing up a baby will also cost you, and there are many costs in relation to the marriage, in respect to the marriage, with respect to the marriage, in relation to the marriage, with regard to the marriage, with respect to the marriage. So more and more people in Japan are choosing not to marry. The economy is one of the reasons. Marriage costs you a lot. For instance, bringing up a baby also costs. Holding a wedding ceremony, it also costs. But it's up to you whether or not the wedding ceremony should be held or not. Have you heard of an arranged marriage? How did your mother and father meet each other? Did they marry with an arranged marriage, or fell in love with each other? Did you ask your parent how they met each other? Have you asked your parent how they met each other? Have you asked your parent how they met each other? Have you asked your parent how they met each other? Have you asked your parent? Have you asked your parents how they met each other? Have you asked your parent how they met each other? Have you asked your parent how they met each other? Have you heard of an arranged marriage? 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 An arranged marriage. Marriage, marriage, marriage. Marriage, marriage. An arranged marriage. Marriage, marriage. An arranged 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 marriage. Have you asked your parent how they met each other? Have you asked your parent how they met each other? Was it an arranged marriage? Did they meet with an arranged marriage? An arranged marriage. 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 Did your parent meet with an arranged marriage? Have you asked your parent how they met each other? Was it an arranged marriage, or fell in love with each other? Did you fall in love with each other? Did you fall in love with her immediately after the meeting? Did you fall in love with her immediately after the meeting? Immediately after seeing that? Immediately seeing her? Immediately after seeing her? Unarranged meeting, unarranged marriage, unarranged marriage, unarranged marriage. What do you think of an arranged marriage? What is 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 an arranged marriage? Unarranged marriage, unarranged marriage, unarranged marriage, unarranged marriage, unarranged marriage, unarranged marriage. The man was arrested for violating the law. Please do not violate the rule. Please do not violate any rules. Please do not violate the law, ordinances, and other decisions. Please do not violate the law. Do not violate the law. The car driver was stopped for violating the speed limit. 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 The driver was arrested for violation of the speed limitation. Working with eating is an obvious violation of the street rule, violation of the ordinance. Working with eating, working eating is the violation of the ordinance. Working eating in the street is a violation of the ordinance. Violation, 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 violation. Are you familiar with the Constitution? The Constitution of Japan. The Constitution of Japan. The current Constitution of Japan was enacted in 1946 and came into effect in the next year. Constitution. The Constitution of Japan. The Constitution of Japan. Constitution. Constitution. Are you familiar with the Constitution? Are you familiar with the Constitution? Male students constitute of the 70% of the university. Male students constitute 70% of the university. Male students constitute the 70% of the university. Male students constitute the 70% of the university. Foreign employees constitute 60% of the company, mega company, high-tech company. 60 foreign employees constitute 60% of the company. When was the school constituted? 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 The school is constituted by both male and female students. The school is constituted mainly of male students, mostly by male students. Male students compose of the university. 70% of the male students compose of the university. 70% of male students and 30% of the female students compose of the university. The university is composed of 70% of male and 30% of female students. The university consists of 70% male and 30% female students. The university is constituted mostly by female students. Constituted mainly by female students. The university is constituted mostly by female students. The university is constituted mostly by female students. The company is constituted by more than 20 departments. The company is constituted by more than 20 divisions. The company is constituted by more than 20 divisions, including production, research and development, sales, and so on. The company is constituted by more than 20 divisions, including sales, research and development, production, and so on. Heart constitutes one of our body. Our body is constituted by many organs. When was the school constituted? When was the company constituted? It's been 100 years since the constitution of the university, so there was an anniversary party. Constitute. The university was constituted just 100 years ago. Oh, it's so historic. So the building is also historically very important, which should be passed down to next generations, which should pass down, handed down to the next generation. The male students constitute of 70% of the population of the university. 70% of male students constitute of the university. Foreign students constitute 10% of the university. Foreign students constitute only 5% of the population of the university. The company is constituted by more than 20 divisions. The company is constituted by more than 20 divisions, including sales, research and development, production, administration, and so on. Constitutional violation. The judge is investigating if the law is constitutional violation. The judge is checking. The judge is investigating whether the newly enacted law is constitutional violation or not. Constitutional. Constitutional. Is it constitutional? Is it lawful? What you are doing lawful? Is what you are doing lawful? Is what you are doing lawful? Constitutional. 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 Constitutional violation. Constitutional violation. Constitutional. 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 Constitutional violation. Constitutional violation. Constitutional violation. Constitutional violation. Constitutional violation. Constitutional. Constitutional violation. constitutional study, constitutional book, constitutional dictionary, constitutional problem, constitutional issue, constitutional, constitutional. I was listening to the panel of the panelists. I was listening to the panel speaking in the podium, at the podium. I was enjoying listening to the panel speaking in the podium. I don't like the nervousness and anxiety of being asked questions by the panel. I saw a panel of tourists guided by the tour guide in the Tokyo Tower. So I felt the inbound is coming back. I saw a panel of tourists somewhere. I started to see some panels of foreign tourists in tourist spots, which made me happy. I was invited to become a member of the panel discussion, but I declined because I had already appointment on the day. I was invited to appear in the panel discussion. I was invited to be the guest of the panel discussion, but I had already promised appointment on the day, so I declined politely. Panelist. Are you a member of the panel? I was invited to be the member of the panel. I was invited to be the panelist. I was invited to be the member of the panel for the talking, discussion, forum, argument, panel. I was asked some questions by the panel of the examiners. I was asked some questions by the panel of the examiners. Have you heard the court? Have you listened to a court? Have you entered the 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 court? Supreme Court, District Court, Criminal Court, Constitutional Court. The panel of judges. A panel of judges. A panel of examiners. A panel of examiners were observing us taking the test. The panel of examiners were observing the students taking the test in search for cheating, and so on. A panel of examiners were observing the students taking the test in case they cheated on the examination, for fear that they cheated on the examination, lest they cheated on the examination. Panel. I was invited to be a member of the panel for the discussion. I was invited to be the member of the panel for the discussion at the podium for the event. I was invited to be the member of the panel for the discussion for the event. Panel. A panel discussion, 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 a panel discussion. Have you joined the panel discussion? Have you joined the panel discussion? I was invited to be a member of the panel discussion. I was invited to appear in a panel discussion. I was invited to be a member of a panel discussion. I was invited to appear in a panel discussion. 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 I saw a panel of the musicians. I saw a panel of the members. I saw a panel of the group. Panel of tourists. Panel of TV casters. Panel of celebrities. Panel of soccer players. Panel of soccer team. I saw a panel of soccer team in the bus. I saw a panel of a soccer team in the bus. I saw a panel of a soccer team in the bus. While I was driving, I came across a panel of a soccer team in the bus. When I was driving my car, I ran into a panel of a soccer team crossing the street. I was waiting for the signal. I was waiting at the intersection. When I was driving my car, I came across a panel of a soccer team crossing the street. I came across a panel of soccer team crossing the street. I came across a panel of soccer team getting on the bus. I ran into a panel of a soccer team getting on the bus. Have you joined the panel discussion? Are you interested in a 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 panel discussion? Do you have the interest in a panel discussion? I was invited to be a member of the panel discussion for the event. I was invited to talk in a panel discussion. I was invited to be the member of the panel discussion. A panel discussion. A panel discussion. A panel discussion. Panel discussion. A panel discussion. Have you ever been a panelist? I was listening to the panelists discussing in the podium. I was listening to the panelists speaking in the podium. And 99% or 100% of the audience will agree with the opinion of the panelist. The panelist. I am not cut out for becoming a panelist because I am not good at speaking in public. I am not cut out for becoming a panelist. I am not cut out for becoming a panelist. I am not cut out for a panelist. I am not cut out for a panelist. I am not good at speaking in public. I don't feel it comfortable. Panelist. I am not cut out for panelist. You are really cut out for panelist. You are really cut out for a panelist. You are fit for panelist. You are fit for panelist. This jacket fitting me. Fortunately, the jacket I ordered from the online shop fitted in me, fit for me, fitted into me. Fortunately, the jacket I ordered from the online shop fitted in me, fitted into me, fitted in me, fit for me. Panelist. I am not cut out for panelist. I am not cut out for a 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 panelist. Panelist. I was invited to be the panelist for the event, but I declined because I was not cut out for the profession. I was invited to be the panelist for the event. I was invited to be the panelist for the event. I was invited to be the panelist for the event. I was invited to be the panelist for the event. I was invited to be the panelist for the event. Panelist. 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 Have you ever been a panelist? Have you ever made a speech as a panelist? Have you ever been a panelist? Do you have the experience making a speech as a panelist? Do you have the experience of making a speech, delivering a speech as a panelist at the podium in front of many people? Do you have the experience of making a speech in public as a panelist? Do you have the experience? Do you have the experience of delivering a speech as a panelist? Delivering a speech, making a speech, delivering a speech, giving a speech in front of people as a panelist. 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 As far as I know, there are 2 supermarkets in the mountain, but both of them have a good. The prices are a little bit more expensive than those in the normal supermarkets in the city, because there are only 2 supermarkets in the mountain. As far as I know, the second highest mountain in Japan is Kitadake. As far as I know, the largest lake in Japan is the Lake Biwa in Shiga Prefecture. When I went to Tokyo, I wanted to take the tour of the House of Councillors. The House of Councillors. The municipal council, the municipal council, municipal council, the municipal council, municipal council, council, the municipal council, parliament, the diet house, congress, parliament. The diet house is divided into the House of Representatives and the House of Councillors in Japan. In Japan, the diet house is divided into the House of Representatives and the House of Councillors. Parliament. Parliament. Do you want to have a seat in a parliament? Do you want to have a seat in parliament? Do you want to have a seat in the diet house? Do you want to have a seat in the Congress? The candidates are trying to have a seat in parliament. The candidates trying to have a seat in Congress. The candidates trying to have a seat in the diet house. In the House of Representatives, those who won the election can have a seat for 4 years. In Japanese electoral system, those who win the election for the House of Representatives, they can have a seat in the House of Representatives for 4 years. When it comes to the House of Councillors, they can have a seat in the House of Councillors for 6 years. Half of them are changed by the election every 3 years though. Parliament. Do you want to have a seat in Parliament? Do you want to have a seat in a Parliament? Do you want to have a seat in a Parliament? Do you want to have a seat in the Diet House? Do you want to have a seat in the Congress? Parliamentary system. Parliamentary system. Are you familiar with the parliamentary system? Are you familiar with the parliamentary system? Parliamentary. Parliamentary. Are you familiar with the parliamentary system? Parliamentary procedure sounds very confusing. Parliamentary procedures sound very confusing for me. What is the main parliamentary duty? Parliamentary opening hours, parliamentary duties, parliamentary. Parliamentary right, parliamentary privileges, parliamentary privileges, parliamentary discussion, parliamentary session, parliamentary session, parliamentary decision, parliamentary decision, parliamentary, 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 parliamentary decision. Parliamentary, 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 parliamentary. Parliamentary system, parliamentary system, parliamentary common sense. Parliamentary decision, parliamentary rule, parliamentary rule, parliamentary rule, parliamentary policy. Parliamentary policy. Is it a parliamentary policy? Parliamentary tendency. Parliamentary. Parliamentary democracy. Parliamentary democracy. Parliamentary democracy. Parliamentary. Parliamentary democracy. Parliamentary democracy. Parliamentary. 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 Parliamentary democracy. Parliamentary democracy. How is the parliamentary democracy working? How is the parliamentary democracy working? How is the parliamentary democracy working in the country? Parliamentary democracy. Democracy, communism, democracy. Parliamentary. Parliamentary system, parliamentary policy. Parliamentary. Parliamentary democracy. Parliamentary democracy. Parliamentary democracy. Parliamentary. 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 Parliamentary system. Parliamentary rule. Policy. Parliamentary democracy. Parliamentary democracy. Parliamentary democracy. Parliamentary democracy. Parliamentary democracy. Parliamentary democracy. It can take time for the bill to be enacted. It can take time for the bill to be enacted. When was the law enacted? When was the law enacted? Enactment of the bill. Enactment of the bill can take time. Enactment of the law can take time. Enactment of the law can take time. It can take time for the law to be enacted. The politician devoted much of his precious time to the enactment of the law. The politician put emphasis on the enactment of the law. The politician put importance on the enactment of the law. The politician put emphasis on the enactment of the law. Enactment. Enactment of the law. 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 Enactment. Some citizens emphasize the enactment of new laws in case of emergency. Enactment of the law, enactment of ordinance, enactment of policy, enactment of the law. Enactment of the law can take time. Enactment of the law took many years. Enactment of the law, enactment of the law, enactment of the law, enactment of the law, enactment, enact. Why do you want to enact the bill? Enactment. Enactment of the law, enactment of the policy, enactment of the new law. The Constitution was enacted long time ago. The law was enacted in 2018. The notorious law was enacted in 2018. Enactment. There are many communities we can belong to. There are many communities we can belong to. The venture company contributed to the community. The venture company into the village contributed to the region, district, community. Which community do you belong to? There are many communities out there, like school, company, club activity, and so on. The common sense might be different according to the community. The common sense base way of thinking are different depending on the community you belong to. The feature, common sense, will be different, might be different according to the communities you belong to. The venture made the community more vibrant. The venture company established in the region made the community more vibrant. I try not to increase the community I belong to. I try not to increase the number of communities I belong to. Community. There are many kinds of communities out there. There are many communities you can belong to out there now. Community. Did you belong to a club activity when you were a student? Or do you still belong to a club activity, sports activity? Do you play sports? Did you used to belong to a club activity after school when you were a student? Did you belong to a school activity after school when you were a student? Did you used to belong to a club activity when you were a student? Yes, I used to belong to a baseball team, baseball club. Equality should be guaranteed. Equality is guaranteed by the law and by the Constitution. Equality. His innocence. His innocence is equal to rejection. His silence is equal to rejection. Sleeping in the bath is equal to boring speech. The train map of Tokyo is equal to spider net. The train map of the Tokyo, the train map of Tokyo is equal to spider's net. The train map of Tokyo is equal to spider net. The train map of Tokyo is equal to spider net. Do you think so? Yeah. The train map of Tokyo is equal to spider net. The train map of Tokyo is equal to spider net. Do you think the train map of Tokyo equals spider net? Do you think the train map of Tokyo equals spider net? 5 divided by 5 equals 1. Multiply the length by width and depth. To calculate the volume, multiply the length by depth and width. Multiply 5 by 5 and you will get 25. Multiply 5 by 5, multiply 5 by 5 and you will get 25. Multiply 5 by 10 and you will get 50. If you multiply 5 by 5, what figures will you get? What will be the answer? If you multiply 5 by 5, you will get 25. Multiply 5 by 50, you will get 250, right? Multiply 2 by 8 and you will get 16. Multiply 2 by 2. In order to calculate the volume, multiply the length by depth and width. His silence equals rejection. His silence equals rejection. His silence equals rejection. Rejection. His silence equals rejection. His silence is equal to rejection. His silence equals rejection. Oh my god, your textbook is as good as new. Have you even tried it? Have you ever even used it? Have you ever even used it? Your textbook is as good as new. Have you ever read that? Have you ever even touched it? Have you ever even opened the page? Have you ever even opened the page? His textbook is equal to new. He hasn't opened it yet. His textbook equals new, intact, instinct, intact, pristine, because he hasn't opened the page yet. His textbook equals new, pristine, intact because he hasn't opened the page yet. He hasn't opened the page yet. He hasn't opened the page yet. Opportunity might not come equally. We should be treated 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 equally. Equally. The chef can divide the same amount of rice to the bowl equally, without weighing, without measuring. The chef can divide the same amount of food, same amount of rice into the bowl, each bowls equally, without measuring, only with his sense. The chef can divide the same amount of rice into each bowl without measuring, only with his sense equally. The chef can divide same amount of rice into each bowl equally, without measuring with the tool. Do you have a barometer? Do you have a barometer? Do you have a thermometer? I'd like to check my temperature in case I am over 37.5 degrees Celsius. Equally. More and more people started to turn out. More and more people started to turn out. More and more people started to turn out for travel. Are you going to turn out for travel? Are you going to turn out somewhere? Are you going to turn out for somewhere? Are you going to turn out somewhere this year, this end of the year, or new year, next year? More and more people started to turn out for travel. More and more people started to turn out. More and more people started to turn out for travel. More and more people started to turn out for travel. The fire turned out to be awesome. The fire proved to be awesome. The fire turned out to be awesome. The fire proved to be awesome. Proved to be awesome. The fire proved to be awesome. I went to the post office on Sunday, only to find it closed. The daughter grew up to be a pilot. The daughter grew up to be a professor of science. More and more people started to turn out for travel. More and more people started to turn out for travel. More and more people started to turn out for travel. More and more people started to turn out for travel. More and more people started to turn out for travel. Are you going to turn out somewhere on Christmas Day? Are you going to turn out for travel? Are you going to turn out somewhere in the end of the year or on New Year's? On New Year, in the new year. Are you going to turn out somewhere in the end of the year or in the new year next year? Many people turned out to get a glimpse of the celebrity, to have a glimpse of celebrity, to catch a glimpse of the celebrity. Many fans turned out around the station to catch sight of the celebrity, to catch sight of the celebrity. To catch sight of the celebrity. Many people turned out to the station. Many people turned out at the exit door, rear exit of the concert hall to catch sight of the celebrity, to catch sight of the celebrity, to get a glimpse of the celebrity, catch a glimpse of the celebrity, have a glimpse of the celebrity. Many fans turned out to the rear exit of the concert hall to get a glimpse of the celebrity, to have a glimpse of the celebrity, to catch a glimpse of the celebrity, to catch sight of the celebrity, to catch sight of the celebrity. In order to catch sight of the celebrity, few people turned out soon after the pandemic, so many tourist spots were very lonely and vacant. Few people turned out to sightseeing spots soon after the pandemic for fear of the infection. For fear of the infection. For fear of the infection. In case of infection and so on. Few people turned out to sightseeing spots, tourist spots, soon after the pandemic. Few people turned out to sightseeing spots soon after the pandemic. Few people turned out to tourist spots. A few people turned out to sightseeing spots, tourist spots soon after the pandemic, for fear of the infection. There are some kinds of court, such as district court, supreme court, top court, criminal court, constitutional court, constitutional court, constitutional court. The judge ruled that the accused was responsible for that. The judge ruled that the accused should pay for what he had done. The judge concluded that the accused was responsible for that. The judge ruled that the accused had to pay the fines. The judge ruled that the accused had to pay 3 million yen to the victims. The judge ruled that the accused had to pay the amount to the victims. The CEO of the company ruled that all of the employees have to wear the identification card all the time with them to distinguish them from others. The CEO of the company ruled that if a person violates the rule of the company, all of the department has to, all of the members of the department have to apologize on behalf of the department in public. The CEO of the company has ruled that if a person violates the rule of the company, the section chief of the department has to apologize on behalf of the department instead. The CEO of the company ruled that if an employee violates the company compliance, all of the employees in the same department have to apologize in public, in the meeting. The CEO of the company ruled that if an employee violates the law, violates the company compliance, all of the employees in the same department have to apologize in the meeting on behalf of the department. The judge ruled that the accused was responsible for that. The judge ruled that the accused had to pay the amount of the money back to the victim with 20% increase. The judge ruled that the accused had to pay 500,000 yen to the victims. The CEO of the company ruled that all of the employees had to wear the identification card with them all the time to distinguish them from others. The CEO of the company ruled that all of the employees had to wear the identification card by hanging them on the neck or attaching it on the clothes all the time while in the office, in the premises. The CEO of the company ruled that all of the employees had to wear the identification card with them all the time, unless they are as long as they are in the premises. The CEO of the company ruled that all of the employees had to wear the identification card with them all the time, as long as they were in the premises. The CEO of the company ruled that all of the employees had to wear the identification card with them all the time, as long as they were in the premises. The legislative yuan. Have you heard of the legislative yuan? The parliament. The legislative yuan. 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 Okay, I will finish speaking here. Thank you for watching. See you next time. See you.